Hey guys, here we are. So I was like off on my I'm posting day 6, day 7, day 8, and I realized, you know what? I'm just turn on the camera and start going. I don't do a lot of preparation for these at the moment. And so I'm not gonna say that. Here I am next day and next post. So I'm excited. Kind of again, this is like my video journal. So I'm just talking about what is going on as I going from teacher man to businessman, working hard to focus and make every day count, make every day better, and really having a goal, a purpose that I'm working towards. Okay, and I'm just journaling right here, this video journaling and kind of documenting my journey. So with that being said, today I just finished work. I'm in my classroom right now. I was pretty beat, so I was just vegging out a little bit, giving myself a little bit of time to kind of scroll through TikTok and see what's there. And just so you know, I do go through my For You page, and I'll look at some of those things, but I hardly stay on there too long because most of that stuff is just mindless gibberish, and it does not benefit me at all. And then I go to my following stuff, and I only follow people for two reasons. One is if I have a business interest in what they're doing. I want to see what they're doing. Maybe I can work with them in the future. Like, for example, because I have a sign language program, I follow people in the language learning area. Okay, but also my other areas of interest beside the language learning and building a business that goes in there also is health. I want to be a healthy person and not just like exercise, but healthy body, stuff that we take in is health, creating a healthy lifestyle, and then also healthy mind, right? And so then the other thing I like to do, or like to follow and study and learn constantly, is how to develop my mind and how to make it stronger, how to live better, essentially. It's so broad. I'm just trying to sum it up in like 3 words. But one guy that I have followed for years, pretty much my entire adult life, who has phenomenal information and that I absolutely love, is Tony Robbins. I've yet to make it to his events, but I am hoping that within the next year that I can make it to one. Anyway, I give you that little preface because I was just watching a video, heard him talking about the power of words, which I've heard him talk about before. And it's just such a good reminder. Like I need if you haven't heard Tony Robbins talk, you haven't heard his stuff, you need to hear it because he just makes so much sense and he puts stuff in perspective. And if you just dwell on it for just a second, you realize that we have so much power. That's what his whole thing is, like unlimited power and awaken the giant within, and and finding this personal power. Everything's about, we have been given such a great gift because of who we are, and we should begin to shape the world around us as we see it in here, right? And we begin to, I don't like to use the term, but basically we begin to manifest a life, but it all starts from in here. And so it's just really good, really powerful stuff. I'm going to touch on one thing, and I probably won't even do as good a job as he does it, but I'm going to do it from my perspective. Like I hear it and I'm like, yes, this is something not only that I have been doing, but I needed a refresher on there. Okay. And he said it, and I said, oh yes, that's why I do it. That's the explanation. That's the reasoning behind it. And what he was talking about was the words. Words are powerful. Words have power. I was talking about here, if you can read this, is language. Language changes meaning. And so that basically what the language we give something, okay, the language we give a circumstance and experience, the language we give whatever is happening, that language has meaning. We are very intelligent creatures, and we have assigned meaning to our language. And when we put a label on something, of ourselves or anything, a person or a situation, that gives it meaning. So powerful, and I'm going to explain on that in just a second. But then the meaning creates an emotion. Oh, that's so all of a sudden. So I say something. I've now given something a label, which now has a meaning, and now I emotionally attach to that meaning. What? Wait. So now I'm emotionally invested into something because of the language I use. Stay with me. And then those emotions determine my actions or lack thereof, right? So because I gave something a label, right? I gave something a label, and then it stirred up an emotion, or no, I gave something a label, right? And now there's a meaning with that label, and now that stirs an emotion in me, and then that emotion says I'm going to take action or I'm not going to take action. I know that's a lot of jumble. I'm gonna come to it in a second. So like here's one of the best ones. I mentioned this in an earlier video, but this is a language that I try never to use. Have to is actually a stressor, right? When you have to do something, you're forced to do something. There's my meaning, right? So my language is have to. My meaning is now I'm forced to do something, right? Which the meaning creates an emotion of stress because I'm being forced to do something and I probably don't want to do it. So now I'm in a negative situation, in a negative state. And so then what is my action going to be? Here's a good example. So many kids, so I'm in high school, teaching high school kids. If you come to school on Monday morning and you ask kids, why are you here? Number one reason, I have to come to school. I have to. Sorry, there's a bug in here. I have to be here. I have to come to school. Oh, well now, if you have to come to school, how do you suppose a kid is sitting in class when they have to come to school? You think they're all, let's learn with this type of behavior and physiology happening? Absolutely not. I bet you know exactly what I'm talking about. I have to come to school. I have to be here. I have to. I'm being forced to. That's not what I want. Right? Can you imagine? So it creates the action or lack thereof, right? Think about this. Let's change it, right? What if kids started saying, oh, I get to go to school. I get to. All of a sudden the meaning is different, right? The meaning is like, I have an opportunity before me. Yeah, I have something that I didn't have, like I get to go, which means there's going to be something there that could be very useful. So I'm going to focus, pay attention, and I'm going to try to learn it. Whoa. That creates a different type of emotion. Right now, the emotion is a little bit of enthusiasm, some excitement building up. Right? Not a stress of like I'm being forced to do something I don't want to do, but instead like, oh, it's my choice and there could be something very good, very positive here. So then that leads to my action. What kind of action am I going to take? Well, I get to go to school. I get to learn stuff. That I actually have a choice in my future work, what I want to be doing in the future. Maybe I know, maybe I don't, but I get to go to school today and begin to explore that and begin to build, put the building blocks in order to lead me to something. Oh man, that's a completely different mindset shift. And it all started with the language. It's so good. And you can apply that to work, right? I have to go to work. Is a complete, you know immediately, you know that you've done that because all of us have done it. Oh, I have to go to work today. Even if it's not even that intense of a thing, but you said like, oh, I have to go to work. Hey, you want to do this? Oh no, I can't. I have to go to work. Oh, you have to. You're being forced to. You'd rather do something else. When you do that, how much of a positive action are you going to take when you get to work? Or are you daydreaming about that other thing that you'd rather be doing? I don't know if you've seen, but a while ago, like Sports Chalet, a big sports company, sold sporting equipment, and they had Sports Chalet license plate frames. If you remember this, I don't live where there is a Sports Chalet. I don't even know if they're still in business. But basically what it said was, I'd rather be, and then they insert your physical activity there. I'd rather be playing golf. I'd rather be surfing. I'd rather be whatever. And I actually, from the very get-go, I'm like, that's a horrible license plate frame because it takes absolutely all the joy and fun out of like saying, I am where I want to be. this is it. This is what I want to be doing. Like it's my choice. It's no longer my choice. So, I'd rather be, it's just a language thing that creates meaning, right? And if you'd rather be somewhere else, then the meaning is where you are is not where you want to be, which creates an emotion maybe of hostility, a little bit of anger, a little bit of frustration, which means that the actions are not going to be good. Let's say you have to produce something, you have to create something, you have to manage people, and you have to do it. You have to do it. What kind of emotions you have, and then how does that relate to the people that you are managing, that you are leading? Yeah, not good, not good. So you get to is a total mindset shift. And if you get nothing else out of this video, I hope that you try that from have to get to, because it's a massive difference in your language, or a small difference in your language that completely shifts your meaning, changes the emotions, and then makes the actions so much better. Because kids always ask me, why are you so excited on Monday morning or any morning? I'm like, because I get to come to work. Here are a couple other ones. I wrote them down here. Check these out. These are often phrases that we say like, oh, I'm stressed, I'm frustrated, I'm overwhelmed, I'm pissed. Or even something like this, I'm good, I'm fine. Yeah. Like, think about it. Think if you go through the, that language creates a meaning, the emotions, and then eventually comes into actions. Let's think about that for a second. What other words can you do? What other language? All right. So instead of I'm feeling stressed, okay, stressed maybe, and let's just connect it with like overwhelm. Okay, like overwhelm, like, ooh, I actually have quite a few things to do and I haven't yet prioritized them yet. Oh, that's a completely different thing than I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed means I have all these things happening and I don't know what to do with all of them, and it's just happening all around me, and my heart's beating and I am feeling that stress, and there's wait a second. I have a lot to do, and I just need to prioritize them. I haven't prioritized them yet, but once I prioritize them, then I'm not overwhelmed. I'm actually just going to be working down my list. So it's a completely different shift from just changing one word or changing a few words. All of a sudden the meaning changes, which changes my emotions and then changes my action. If I'm overwhelmed, I can't focus on one thing. I don't know what to do. I'm going left and right. I'm going all over the place. And what am I? And then eventually I'm just like, I can't do anything. And I don't take any action. Right? Or if I say, hey, I actually got quite a few things to do. I haven't yet put them down, but I'm going to go ahead and organize them, prioritize them, organize them in most important, and I'm going to start working on those. All of a sudden, the meaning changes, right? My emotions completely change because I don't feel like I'm out of control, but I feel much more in control. And so then, therefore, my actions, I can actually take some action, and I can direct it to the most important thing first. And I will get more done and be more effective than someone who is overwhelmed with all these things, who doesn't get anything done. Heck, if I get one thing done, I'm more productive, more effective, right? I wanted to try two more. I'm pissed. Oh, I don't know, how do you even say that without the face? Look at I'm pissed, right? I'm pissed off. I'm angry. I'm mad, right? Like those things, not only my voice and my body now line up with this language, and it creates an intense emotion. And any action that comes out of that intense negative emotion probably isn't going to be constructive or good. Okay? So like when we are in when you're in a relationship or you're talking to someone who's very important to you and you're feeling this type of you're feeling stuff happening and you put that language in there, this is I'm pissed off. I'm so mad at you. That emotion is going to lead to an action that is not going to be beneficial to healing that relationship or fixing that, right? So there's one thing I try to never do with my wife is to have this like overly negative emotion. And I'm a bit of a quiet person when it comes to that. I'm like, before I just all over her, let me think about it. And I oftentimes will go out by myself in my car, take a walk, and I will verbally out loud process what I'm feeling and figure out my new language. Say, how can I shift that so that I'm not doing it? Because if I come at my wife angry, frustrated, mad, pissed off, and I try to relay that to her, nothing's gonna happen. She's gonna put up the defense, put up the wall, and we're not gonna have any communication. If my intention was for her to hear my heart, to hear what I have to say, and I come at her with that, all she's gonna do is put up the wall, and nothing's gonna happen. So it's definitely not the way that I wanna go. I'll tell one more. I'm good. I'm fine. How many times do people say this? This is like the standard response. But like, how lame is that? I'm good. How are you? I'm good. Like, what's the meaning in that? The meaning is like, I'm not actually good. I just don't want to muster up enough energy to talk to you. Like, you're not really worth me talking to you. So I'm just going to say I'm good and leave it at that, right? Or I haven't actually thought about how I'm feeling, but it's definitely not great. So I'm just going to say good. Like, what is all the meaning? What meaning do you assign to it? Think about it. When you say I'm good or I'm fine, what does that mean? I know that it doesn't mean I'm fine when your spouse says it, right? And you can definitely tell when the face, voice, body language all line up. I'm fine. Whoa, are you? Okay. So the not only does the language have meaning, but then also how you say it, what Tony Robbins calls the physiology, which is our face, our voice, and our body language. Do you tense up when you say I'm fine? Do you tense up? Are you I'm fine? Like do you when I say like I'm fine? I'm fine. And if you were to ask me how are you, and my response was like I'm fine. It means I don't think anyone actually cares enough for me to say how I'm really feeling. And if that's the meaning that I say I'm fine, and the meaning is that, then how am I feeling emotionally? I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling all those negative things, right? And then what kind of actions or lack thereof am I going to have? How outgoing am I going to feel? How much, how willing am I going to be to go out there and start up conversations with people and talk to people, right? I mean, how about just go out of my house? I know a lot of people suffer from depression, and I'm not going to say anything about clinical depression and people who are really in that kind of state. I'm not going to speak to that, but so many people just suffer, as I have, of just this like very down period. And in my very down periods, I don't want to interact with anybody. I just want to sit there and sulk in my, sad little lonely bubble. It happens. I think it happens to everybody. Okay. But if I start changing my language, it changes the meaning that I'm assigning to everything, which starts to affect my emotions. And then my emotions then lead me to some positive actions. It's just like, guys, this is such a mind or a world-changing concept. Like your world-changing concept. My world completely shifted and continues to shift when I like cognizantly think about and focus on my language, because the language is the part that we have direct control and power to. And the language we use, when we make that conscious choice to use language, empowering language, this stuff starts happening automatically. Our brain starts assigning meaning to that language, which then stirs up emotions, which then leads us to actions. I mean, it's a chain effect, but it all starts with us, like right now, consciously thinking about the words that I use. Just start thinking about like the words that I use. Today, I'm going to be cognizant of the words that I use. I'm not just going to go into autopilot and just say stuff, but I'm going to be cognizant of the words that I use. All right. And when I find a negative language that stirs up negative emotions, I'm going to shift it. Okay. Like if I'm mad, if I'm pissed, I'm like, I'm angry. What if you come out and you're like, someone comes up to you, they could tell you're very, right? And they're like, hey, what's up, man? How are you? And instead of going, I'm pissed, right? Instead of doing that, what if you're like, I'm so peeved right now? Try to keep a straight face when you say I'm peeved. It's hard. You ever been in that really frustrated, angry, high energy, negative energy space, and someone comes around and does something and makes you laugh, and it completely fractures that? And all of a sudden your body goes to just and all of a sudden you're laughing. You're like, wait a second, like half a second ago, I was in a completely different space. And all of a sudden something changed and I completely shifted. This is the power that our mind has over us, our world, our life. It is so powerful. And this is why I love Tony Robbins, because his focus is completely on your mind is what releases, like everything comes from your mind outward. And I don't want to make that sound in any type of like new agey sort of way. It's no like The Secret, like I'm like out. No. But the mind affects the body, affects our words, and everything is shifted because of what it all starts with what we are thinking. It cannot be unraveled in 5 to 10 or 15 minutes. And this video has already gone way longer than I thought or than I was expecting to, but I just love this concept. It's so good. And I wanted to give you some examples just because this is the type of stuff that is so massively life altering if you can wrap your head around just this like one concept, that your language is so massively important. Because the language you use creates meaning, which then stirs up emotion, positive or negative, which then leads us to action or inaction. And that is what shapes the life around us, you guys. Oh, so good. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow.